All right, we're going to try something new tonight, everybody. We're going to be live on YouTube instead of Facebook. How is everybody tonight? Joe, welcome. How are you?
I am sore. Sore, but I'm good.
Why might you be sore?
Well, we talked about it on a podcast episode. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I mentioned it in a podcast episode we did a couple months back. But back in January, a friend of mine reached out and asked if I wanted to run 50 miles in the end of August. So I signed up for that and I started running. And this past weekend, we decided to get together, me and the other two guys that are running, and we went down to Ohio and ran the 25-mile course just to get a feel for the terrain that we're going to be running and get an idea of the course that we're going to run and kind of have an idea of what we're dealing with. So we we went with the intention of running 25 miles.
YouTube.
You good?
Yeah.
We went with the intention of running 25 miles, and when we got out there, one of the guys said, my wife said not to come home unless we just run 26.2 miles.
Uh,
I go, why is that? He said, because that's a marathon. And she said, if we run 25, we might as well run one more and just call it a marathon. So I said, well, I guess I understand that point of view and I agree. So yeah, let's do it. Let's run 26.2. And then we were talking. I said, an ultra marathon is anything over a marathon distance. So why don't we run another zero 0.1 miles and we'll run an ultra marathon? So we we pushed through and we ended up running 26.3 miles in 8 hours on the dot.
Crazy.
It was there was I mean, it wasn't straight running the entire time. There was a lot of uphill climbing. We walked to preserve water and preserve energy, trying to just get through it. But it's an endurance run, so that's got it. It was it was rough to get through. I had a couple rough patches, and we got through it. But I'm here today. I rode back home, 6 hour drive from Ohio on the motorcycle, and was really ready to get home and get off my feet. So,
I
but I'm
can
glad I
imagine.
did
That
it.
had to
And
be a long ride home after that, too.
uh, and I only slept for 4 hours because I rode down there after work. So I didn't get out of work until 4 o'clock. I didn't leave until 5:30, almost 6. So I didn't end up making it down there until 1, and then didn't find a spot to sleep until 1:30. I ended up sleeping in a parking lot next to my bike with met up with one of the guys we were running with, and he slept in his car next to me, and we just passed out for 4 hours, woke up at 5:30 and went and got breakfast and met up to go run. So it had a long day.
Wow.
It was a long day.
Sounds like you prepared very well for a 26-mile run. Got your
Yeah, I
body
mean,
well recovered.
this is that's the military training in me. Little sleep, you get through it.
I guess I can
But
understand that.
it was Brian Brian said that he smashed an entire pizza the night before and didn't barely sleep, and then drove an hour and a half in the morning to meet up with us.
Holy crap.
And then and then ran 26 miles.
Wow.
Like, I don't know how you ate an entire pizza and chose to do this.
No kidding. Yeah,
But
I guess carb loading, but still that's insane.
that's some hefty carb loading.
Yeah, no
But I
kidding.
mean, you also got to think at the end of the day, by the time we were done, what our Garmin said was we burned about 4,500 to 5,000 calories in 8 hours.
Okay.
So I reached out to you yesterday and we wanted to talk about the run because I learned a couple things and had some I had some learning experiences and mishaps along the way, and I limped through it for lack of better terms. But
Figuratively and
yeah, I
literally.
yeah. So around mile 7 I rolled my ankle and we had 19 miles to go. So I ran on a rolled ankle for 19 miles. That was pretty well swelled up and bruised yesterday. Um and around mile 20 I hit some stomach cramps. And this was a new step for me to learn when it comes to my nutrition and how to sustain myself to run over a long period of time. So I've never, up until Saturday, the longest I've ran was 8.5 miles. And that was, I mean, it took me an hour and a half. So very light. There's not much that needs to be sustained with that. I think I had a gel pack, a gel, energy gel, and some salt tabs before I started that run and went with some water and ran. And I felt fine. But dude, once we hit mile 20, I had been trying to keep up with things. I had some salt pack and like I told you, I called you last night and I said I need some advice here. So that's what we're going to talk about is I I had some severe cramping and the only thing I can compare it to was the amount of pain that I felt when I had appendicitis and my appendix almost burst. It was terrible stomach pain. I felt it all the way up my back. I had to sit down a couple times. I think I walked for 2.5 miles for about 45 minutes before I finally was able to. I think I ended up burping a handful of times, and once I burped, my stomach my stomach ache went away and I was fine for a couple minutes. I cramped up again for maybe 2 more minutes and then burped again and I was back to running. And after that I was fine. I I don't know. I had a salt tablet, some ibuprofen for my ankle around mile 13. I had a salt tablet and some Rice Krispies around mile 19.
Can you see? I sketched out
I
I sketched out what your day looked like.
Yep. Yep, because we went over all of this on the phone yesterday.
So yeah, about your second hour, you had an energy gel. Your third hour, you had a Rice Krispie treat. Your fourth hour, you had a pickle, two salt tabs, and a splash of Gatorade. Your words, or some Gatorade. Why is my calculator up? Weird. Sixth hour, you had a salt tab and a Rice Krispie treat. And then during your seventh hour, you ran out of water.
Mm-hmm.
You had eggs Benedict for breakfast, which is actually a decent breakfast.
God, it was delicious too.
That's probably a pretty darn good breakfast for pre-race like that. Not super high
Yeah, it
calories,
wasn't
but
too it wasn't too filling. It didn't leave me it didn't it didn't get me all gassy or anything like that. I felt good after breakfast and I felt good to run.
okay. So what else? Anything I missed in that? I didn't mean to just take over, but I had it all sketched out. I went through all your messages from yesterday and took all the notes I needed. So
No, that sounds about right. I had maybe half of a Gatorade, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then ran out of water around 7.
You started with 2 liters, and you said you filled up once with about a half liter left. So I figured you went through about 3.5 liters of water. Sound about right?
3.5 plus the Gatorade and some other drinks along the way and sharing drinks. So yeah, probably around 4 liters of water overall.
Okay. So you had cramping late. Late, you had
Mm-hmm.
cramping. You rolled your ankle, but that's not due to nutrition or anything. Anything else? What else?
Nothing outside of like the what I expected. I have my knees sore, my hips are sore, muscles are sore, but nothing. No, I didn't have any muscle cramps. It was just my stomach got cramped up. But other than that, it was good. I was exhausted by the end. I felt good by the time I was able to cool off and everything too, because it was a ungodly hot day. It was. Think we checked the weather around noon or 1 o'clock, and it said it was 89 degrees with a real feel of 97,
Jeez.
and
Toasty.
that wasn't even close to the hottest part of the day.
Yeah, it's very toasty.
So it got hot. But no, I think that pretty much sums it up. So yeah, I reached out to you, gave you all that information last night, and said I started off by asking if you knew a nutrition coach, and like we talked about last week, pretty sure you know one, don't you?
Yeah. Fortunately, I just got certified. Just
So it's a
completed that
perfect
last
opportunity
week.
for it's
Perfect
perfect
opportunity for
timing, perfect opportunity.
both of us. I will I will point out this is a little outside of the realm of nutrition coach. Like a nutrition coach can provide general guidelines for something like this. But I I'm even going to recommend to you that you talk to somebody who's either more experienced with these types of endurance races or somebody who's
Mhm.
certified in like sports nutrition. I don't have
Mhm.
that level of detail yet, but it is something I plan to work on. And just as a kind of confirmation to everything I'm telling you, because some of these things are like I said beyond my scope. But because you're my brother, I did a little extra digging and tried to come up with as much information as I can. But I will try to break out the information I would typically provide as a coach and then go into added detail. So just a little bit of information.
Yeah.
So where
I'm
should we
I'm just
even
gonna take notes here as you talk.
yeah, I do want to check real quick if my audio is coming through. I'm not sure that it is. That kind of has me worried. I'm going to talk for a second and see if I can hear it in my phone. This is kind of awkward. Yep, we're working. Good
Testing,
deal.
testing.
Well, it's not showing my
Yeah.
audio getting picked up. It's only showing yours. So I was concerned for a minute, but all right. Let's get into
Yeah,
this.
I can hear yours. My video looks rough, but
Yeah. I'm not sure why. I don't know if that's me.
it looks clear to me.
I don't continue to play with this and we'll refine it and get better and better as we go. At least we have working audio and video for a change, though. All right,
Mm-hmm.
back to this. I guess we should start with I don't even know where to start. There was so much information I pulled today, and I learned the endurance race, and especially like ultra training and everything. There's a lot that goes into that. I guess we'll just start by covering your day. So, like I showed you, I went through and analyzed your day, what you ate, what you drank, and the supplements you took, and whatever. You had eggs Benedict. I wasn't sure how big the portion was. I didn't know anything about it. I guessed 400 calories, 50 grams of carbs. Not really sure. Kind of guessed. Said you had plenty of water. What's that?
I didn't say anything.
No. I put 300 milligrams of sodium in that eggs Benedict. Again, total guess here.
Mm-hmm.
Then your second hour, you had your energy gel. That was 100 calories, 22 grams of carbs, and 55 milligrams of sodium. Third hour was your Rice Krispie treat. That came in at 150 calories, 28 grams of carbs, 170 milligrams of sodium. Then your pickle, that's only 9 grams of carbs, but 200 milligrams of sodium. You had your 2 salt tabs. It's another 100 milligrams of sodium. They're 50 milligrams each. Then you had your Gatorade. I wasn't sure how much you had. You said some, or like a sip of Gatorade. So I threw 20 calories and just 5 grams of carbs, but it may be more than that. Regardless. 6th hour salt tab, another 50 milligrams of sodium, and then a Rice Krispie for 150 calories, another 28 grams of carbs, and 170 milligrams of sodium. This brought your total to 142 grams of carbs and 1,255 milligrams of sodium. During my research, I pulled what an ideal day, an ideal session would look like for somebody running to that level. 2 to 3 hours beforehand, you would start. Well, first hour, you don't need as many carbs because you've kind of fueled up before the race. So you get about 40 to 50 grams of carbs an hour in. But you need 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Every hour after that, you should be consuming 30 to 90 grams of carbs every single hour. And you want pretzels, you want honey packs, you want those energy gels, whatever easy, simple carbs. And I got a whole list of them. Bananas are great. Bananas are one of the best fruit carbs you can get while running. They're just a super easy, digestible, high carb snack. But yeah, I got a whole list of snacks we can go over. Your Rice Krispies, that was a very good snack. So yeah, every hour you want 30 to 90 grams of carbs. You're probably, with running the 50, you're probably going to err to the higher side and go 60 to 90. And you'll want to test all of this out while you're training. That is something else I would encourage also in the months leading up to August, is continue to push yourself training for hours at a time. For one, so we can get
there's going to be long weekend runs.
Yeah. We need to get into hydration testing, which we'll cover that in a little bit. And I want to figure out what your sweat rate is. And in order to do that, we need data from your runs. So I'll need data from longer runs, and that's going to make me encourage you to go on them. But it'll also help train your body for this because it's not really something your body's ready for. The other thing, every hour you should be ingesting 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium. You are sweating that much. And then if you think on top of that, you're drinking, so you're helping to push out that much more sodium. Add all of that up, by the end of the day, your carbs would range from 230 grams to 590 for an 8-hour run like that. And your sodium would be 3,500 milligrams to 7,000 milligrams during that 8 hours, depending on how much you ingested. So when I mentioned earlier,
that's a lot.
When I mentioned earlier that you were drastically underdosed in sodium, like that's probably why you were cramping. On top of all the water you were drinking, just sweating out all of that sodium. So you didn't have the electrolytes, essentially, that your muscles needed to contract properly. And that's why it got so bad all the way in your stomach, in your back, all of it, because all that stuff was locking up.
So now it wasn't my back that was cramping. It was just pain through my back. It wasn't muscle cramps. It was stomach cramps.
Okay.
If that changes anything. It was just my stomach and it felt like it was in knots all the way up through my back.
The other thing that sodium does is helps your body hold on to moisture. Your stomach needs moisture to digest food. You ate that Rice Krispie treat and then you ended up running low on water. You know what I mean? So you were probably already had drank a bunch of water, but you were sweating. You said it was hot. My guess is the other guess I had was you where did I make that note? Reduced blood flow to the stomach once you start digesting food, because and you're running for that long of a time, your blood flow is going to your muscles and everywhere else, and then because your sodium has been flushed out, your body's not holding on to water as well, so your blood gets thicker, which makes it harder to move around your body. So your stomach now needs that blood, but it's moving slowly because there's not as much water in your blood because there's no sodium. You see what I'm saying? Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
Your sodium.
Yeah, this is where you start to learn how important little.
Yes. Every little detail matters. Sodium helps your body hold on to its moisture, where if you're sweating, it's just flushing it all out on top of peeing or whatever else. So if you're not intaking enough sodium, your body's not able to hold on to any moisture and it's just going right through you. Did I lose you? Are you there?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Your video's
Can you hear
laggy.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your video is just super laggy for a minute there. Now you're gone. Okay. Oh, there he is.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. What happened?
I switched networks real quick.
Ah, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
That's a lot better. Okay.
That might help.
Your camera's better too now.
Yeah, Crazy.
Everything's better. All right. So where were we
Wow.
now? Talking about sodium, blood flow, water, all of that. Did you catch any of
just
that? Do I want me to run through it again?
yes, I caught all of that just fine. I was saying it's interesting. This is where you start to realize the importance of individual nutrients and how drastic or how important it is to have that, and the drastic changes or effects it can have if you run low on those nutrients.
Yeah. And
And
it's
it's
most people aren't going to notice anything in their day-to-day lives. It's only when you start pushing your body to extremes that these details really start to matter.
yeah, because who the hell in their right mind really just decides to go run 26 to 50 miles?
Right.
I mean, it's not really something that a lot of people seem to do. So,
Well, and just even the carbs. The carbs, like you're eating an entire day's worth of carbs for a normal human being, if not 2 times the amount of carbs for a normal human being over the course of running. Your body can normally hold on to about an hour's worth of energy.
mhm,
60 minutes worth of calories is what your body can hold on to, essentially, give or take.
right.
So yeah, you have to fuel it for 8 hours. That was something else I wanted, like I wanted to point out. You only took in 142 grams of carbs, and you said you
Mhm.
burned
Oh yeah.
4,500 calories.
Oh yeah. I knew I needed everything that I've read up until this point said like right around the 60 to 90-minute mark, you should be taking something in. But I mean, it, I need to get better at keeping track of the time, because when you start running, you just run. And then you look down like, holy shit, I didn't realize we've been running for this long. And that's kind of what it was. I mean, it was me and two other guys. So we just ran trails for 8 hours. We
Yeah,
bullshitted, we talked, we laughed, we had a great time, and you lose track of time. I didn't realize it was 8 hours gone by, you know?
which is
Just
awesome.
kind of right. But it's
You
hard to
almost
keep
need
track
to.
of that, and you have to pay attention or have timers
I
like,
was
"Hey,
gonna
you've
say
been running for an hour."
set timers for every 15 minutes or something. Just a little beep, so if you need to eat or take a salt tab or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, your sodium is drastically underdosed,
Which is
depending
why
on.
pickles and pickle juice is a very highly rated thing to be consuming.
Yeah, Gatorade's really good too.
Mhm.
Gatorade, Powerade, whatever. It's a super good way to get carbs and electrolytes. There's quite a bit of sodium in a Gatorade too, plus carbs. So it's a good way to get some of that in.
Yeah, and we did like the Gator Light, so it's got extra electrolytes. It's more like Pedialyte than straight up Gatorade too. So I'll probably the other guys they were adding something called Tailwind. It's like powdered carbs and electrolytes and everything to their waters. So I'm probably going to look into something like that as well, so I can have
Check out.
something.
I've got a whole bunch of information I will send over to you also, but check out Precision Hydration. They had some packs I found that looked super good.
Oh,
Yeah, where'd you go?
awesome video. I'm
Oh,
here.
if you'd like a book to check out, I know you like reading. I found a book for
Hmm.
you. Long Distance Runner's Guide to Injury Prevention and Treatment. It's like 18 bucks on Amazon. There's quite a few authors, so I didn't write them all down, but yeah, Long Distance Runner's Guide to Injury Prevention and Treatment.
Got it.
Um, Protein, amino acids, you should be ingesting 1 to 3 hours before you're going, just to help get you boosted up. Protein
Hmm.
during is also good. Being more of the endurance, you're going to want more carbs than protein, but protein wouldn't be a bad thing to throw at least some of in there.
Right. Well, and the beauty of it too is the benefit to actually running the when we do the actual ultra, there will be aid stations every like 4 to 6 miles. So there's going to be aid stations to fill up water. They'll have snacks, food, whatever else that we need there too. So I'll have plenty at my disposal to get the nutrition that I need. It's just the in between those 4 to 6 miles that I need to know, like, okay, how much do I need to eat? How long do I have? How long from ingesting food till I start running again? Should I be able to start running immediately or should I walk for 10, 15 minutes?
You should have foods you can ingest while running.
Okay.
Start
Which is why
practicing
it's
training while eating. Pretzels, Rice Krispie treats are good things. Let's see. Let me go over some of them. Fruit, whole fruits, bananas are the best, but any that you like. Dried fruits good. Applesauce.
Mhm. Okay, so
Oh,
dried fruits are good. They're not gonna okay, because
yep.
that's what I was trying to think about. Like I can bring fruit with me, but 8, 10, 16 hours of running in a hot day, that's gonna get gross and mushy and disgusting.
How many bags can you have? Like, can we have bags that we swap out? Are we going to be able to see you at like the 26, 25 mile mark and swap out a bag?
I would imagine so,
So we can
because
have a
I'll be able
second
to like
bag of,
swap shoes and all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. So we can have a second bag of fruit, whatever you want, ready to go for you too. So,
Hmm.
yes, but dried fruit is good as well.
Okay.
Applesauce, oatmeal or granola bites.
Oh, there's those applesauce pouches that you can get, aren't there?
You
You
can put
just
it in a
take the top
Ziploc
off
bag
and
too.
squeeze it. Yep,
Yeah.
that too.
I saw mashed potatoes. Potatoes is our very good carb source. And they said if you make mashed potatoes and then put them in a Ziploc bag, you can bite the corner and just squeeze it into your mouth. I don't know how good that would
Hmm.
be while running, but if you just need fuel, it's just fuel. Cookies, Rice Krispie treats, baby food,
Ugh.
ginger candies. That started to say it was good for something, but it got cut off, and I didn't get to dig into that any further. But ginger candies is good for something while running as well. Jerky, trail mix, honey pouches, rice cakes, pretzels, chips. Pretzels are better than chips. Chips have higher fat content, and that's going to make things cause or take longer to digest and possibly cause you more potential cramping issues. So something to keep in mind. If you're going to go for something
Yeah,
like that, I'd go for pretzels. That's got salt in
and
it too.
I don't do chips. They're too greasy and it causes me heartburn and
There you go.
reflux. So I had 2 bags of pretzels in my bag. I just didn't end up getting into them. So I had pretzels. That was my intentional snack.
And yeah, you're probably not going to be hungry a whole lot, but you're going to kind of have to force yourself. That's why I just do those little
Right.
things. Pop a pretzel in, you know, something. Fruit snacks are good. Candies, candy's good.
Oh man, I could smash some fruit snacks along a trail.
There you
Oh,
go. Get a bag of gummy worms. Maybe Tiff will start running with you. Get a bag of gummy worms, hook them on a string out in front of her, and she'll chase that bitch down. I'm about to get yelled at, I have a feeling. Oh,
I like me some gummy worms too.
hell yeah. So, something else I mentioned. Sorry, we're covering a lot. Hydration. I need a 3-day average after your morning pee. So, get up, do your thing, weigh yourself for 3 straight days. Then
Okay.
we'll take the average of that, and then you go 1% lower than that, and that's hypohydration. That means you do not have enough water. So we know if you hit that point, you have lost too much weight, too much water weight, and you are, yeah, not doing good. Did you know 3% loss of body weight in water can be not good for you?
I
2%.
believe that.
2% is going to start to lead to decreases in your performance. 3% is not good.
I believe it. Start getting super dehydrated, plus the heat and everything on top of that.
Your
It's
blood
a
starts to
whole
get thick.
whole mess of problems.
Yep.
I've seen many people fall, pass out during hikes and runs and all sorts of shit from that.
Um, Something else we need to do for your hydration is get your sweat rate. We can do this anytime you're going to do some longer distance runs. I'd say an hour or more. Make sure you're doing this. We really need to get some on some longer runs. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
three plus hours if you go on them. But need your weight before you go on your run. This is in the nude. So weight before,
That's my favorite.
weight before, weight after, how much water you drank during the workout, and then any urination. Keep track of how much you urinate, and if you can, how much, like milliliters.
I'm just gonna bring Ziploc bags with me, and I'll just pee in bags.
There you go. Bring gallon ones.
And then I'll toss them to you on the. You can measure that during the run for me.
Oh, perfect.
I'll just toss you the bags.
Perfect. I can't even run with you. That's the shitty thing about all of this now is I can't even fricking run with you. I was
No.
looking forward to doing some stuff with you, but I can't
Mm-hmm.
now. I just get to be here
All
for
in
moral
time.
support. A couple
Perfect.
more weeks, I ain't even gonna be able to bend my fricking knee. It's gonna be locked straight.
That'll be fun. How many weeks till you got that?
We got 3 weeks now. It's the 17th, my surgery. So,
Okay.
yep. I
Coming up
think
soon.
I think I will be able to move by the time Travis comes through. I'm hoping, but we'll see. That might be the first chance I get to walk.
That'd be sweet.
I don't know how far I'll make it, but I will attempt it.
We can carry you the rest of the way.
There we go. Just like old times. All right. So that's your sweat rate. Um, Generally, just some general information. If you're going to go on a nice long workout the next day, try to get in an extra half liter of water before you go to bed, another half liter a couple hours before exercise. Just keep that hydration up. You don't want it to fall down.
Hmm.
Keep an eye on your urine. Gets too dark. It's time to get some water. Get too thirsty. That's another one that people don't pay attention to. And I know you stinking Marines probably pushed through it along with most military personnel. Probably pushed
No,
through thirst quite often. Okay,
no.
good.
If
Good, good, good.
you no, we would get you would drink water until you threw up.
Okay.
It does not matter if you are thirsty, it's already too late.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
know how that was
that's
treated. I figured it
yeah.
was kind of like a thirst is a sign of weakness type of deal, and so they made
No,
you
no,
okay.
no. We have too many people fall out of hikes and about die because they
Okay,
are dehydrated because nobody wants
good
to
to know.
drink.
Good to know.
Especially in the winter because nobody wants to drink when it's cold out. But that's the you you dehydrate way faster than you think.
Oh, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Something else people don't think about is when you are running, or if it is windy, you might not sweat as much, or the wind kind of wicks some of that moisture away, and so you don't notice how much you're sweating, and you don't realize how much you're getting dehydrated. Also, so something else you're going to need to keep an eye on being outside in the environment you're in, hills, whatever. So keep an eye on that as well. Just because you're not necessarily sweating does not mean you are not getting dehydrated.
Right.
Um, so I did ask you for some other information also, just so I could pull together what your base metabolic rate is. Um, for now, just because I know you're not training probably where you need to be, I gave you just a moderate activity level. But
Hmm.
your daily calories should be around 2,700 calories per day by my calculations.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you have, but I would suggest going to a little bit higher carb diet for the next couple of months. It will help train your body to store more carbs, more glycogen. There's a few different ways you can train to help boost your body's ability to store glycogen as well to improve your ability. We can talk about that later, but you can start upping your carbs now, and that'll increase your body's ability to utilize carbs when needed to convert those carbs to energy while you're running, and it'll help your body store a little more glycogen in the meantime to be able to go further initially better. It's like I said, most people only store about an hour's worth of energy. If you start training now, you can boost that.
So what I just heard was more fudgesicles.
Yeah,
Got it. Done.
if
It's
it fits your
perfect time of
macros.
the year.
To an extent, if it fits your macros, I'd keep your protein up.
Mhm.
I gave you a
Oh yeah.
30% protein, 10 fat, 60 carbs. That came out to 202 protein, 67 fat, and 405 carbs.
It sounds pretty good, pretty close.
You can play around with the protein and fat a little bit, carbs a little bit, but that's general
Hmm.
guidelines. And I'll shoot this over to you also, but I got my whole
Yep.
sheet together for you. So 2,700 or 2,700 calories per day, and that's just to maintain on a day-to-day basis, not including the extra running. Like you said, you run for 8 hours, that's an extra 4,500 calories you burned. You need to be consuming that in carbs. So
Yeah, I could see that.
what else?
Dude, that's covered a lot of information. There's a lot there, and it's all, yeah, much appreciated.
Post running, get
Hmm.
a drink 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 carbs to protein. That will help with replenish your muscle glycogen. And that is critical for the type of training you're doing. You need those glycogen stores to get back as quickly as possible. So you want a 3 or 4-to-1 carb to protein ratio drink post workout.
Okay.
I think that's all the information I gathered. I had fun with this
Oh,
today. It was
good.
I was busy for a couple hours, but I had fun with it. I learned a lot today too. This was something new for for me for sure. Endurance training and all of that. Like I done my workouts and everything forever, and I can run for a while, but nothing like this. So this was very, very interesting.
I figured you'd like to dig into this a little bit and learn some new stuff. So no, I appreciate the hell out of it.
I've got that book on my Amazon cart too. I was going to do the audio book, but I think I'm going to get the book and pick through it. It's not going to
It
hurt
might,
to have all this kind of stuff at my fingertips anyway. So I hope
yeah, he
I want to make a career out of this. So the more information I can get now, better off I'm going to be.
the more info at your fingertips, the better off you are too. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
oh yeah,
What else we
that's a
got?
ton of
Anything?
info. Man, I think I don't have much. That's that was the extent of my weekend. I learned a lot. I kicked my ass and I am sore. So I am feeling it.
When you get back out there?
I ran a mile and a half today and then worked out for an hour. So
Nice. Good for you.
we'll be we'll be working hard.
Like to hear it.
I I took it too easy for too long, and I can make all the excuses I want. I got busy with other things and prioritized other things going on. So it's it's good that I'm getting back to it, and I'm glad that I went and did that run. And I told the guys too. I could have done all that running back at home. I could have gone and done my own 25-mile run, and I could have done it, but having people there to push you and just going and doing it instead of putting it off taught me more than trying to just prepare for it and work my way up to it could have ever done.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, all right, to hell with it. We're just going to go for it, see where this takes us. And I'm not going to bitch out. I'll be damned if I don't cross that finish line. There is
What?
no way in hell I will not make it. I will crawl my happy ass across that line.
I thought it was funny too because I saw your guys' pictures, um, and it was just funny because it never once looked like you guys. The hell, it never once looked like you guys were miserable or that exhausted or anything. It looked like you guys were having a good time, just out like you said, hanging out with buddies, going for a hike. I'm sure it
we
was harder than that, but it looked like you guys were just having fun.
we went by the mantra of if it feels like work, we're trying too hard.
Yep.
So if we started running uphill and it started getting exhausting and feeling like we were working, we cut it back. We would walk uphill, and then once we got to a flat area, it was a light jog. We didn't kill ourselves. It's not about trying to make a I'm not trying to make a time. I'm not trying to get first place in this run. I'm trying to
Finish.
prove to myself that I can get through 50 miles of running,
Yeah.
which is dude, I honestly, as dumb as it might sound, I was riding home and I was maybe 30 minutes away from the camp that we ran at. And I was riding home just thinking about everything. Like back in January when I got that call, it had been 3 years since I had ran a mile. And I didn't run until the end of February. So February, March, April, May, June, I have 5 months of training in, and not hard training, but I went from not running a mile in 3 years back in January to running a fucking marathon on Saturday,
Yeah.
which is insane to me. The just the level of progression, and
It's a
I
5K, right?
dude, I huh?
That's a 5K?
What's that?
The
A marathon?
yeah.
It's a 25K.
25K. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And then the ultra that we're running is 50 miles, so it's not quite 50K, but
Yeah.
it's 50 straight miles.
Yep.
And just the fact that dude, I hated running. I've always hated running. I've despised running my entire life and wanted to just get into it. And I've been telling myself for years I was going to do it, but I needed a push from somebody, and somebody just challenged me to something that, dude, if you told me a year ago I was going to run 50 miles in August this year, I would have told you you're batshit insane.
Yep.
There's no way I'm doing that. And then somebody just reached out and said, "Hey, let's do this." And I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, that's
I
fucking
knew
awesome.
I knew if when he reached out to me and said, "Do you want to run 50 miles?" I told him I needed overnight to think. But the second I got off the phone with him, the first thought through my mind is, am I going to regret this if I don't do it? When I watch him run this race, am I going to feel like a bitch because I didn't do it? And the answer is yes.
Yep.
It's like, all right, that's all I needed to know. I'm going to feel like a bitch if I watch him do it and I didn't do it. I
Yep.
didn't even try. I didn't even show up. I just said, no, not for me. I can't do that. I got to at least give it a shot. So I'm glad I am. I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm so damn proud of myself and where I have gone. I have a long way to go, and I know that, but it's good. It's been an experience.
Yeah. And gonna continue to learn a lot, and I'm sure you're learning things about yourself that you otherwise wouldn't have. I'm sure you're finding new passions you otherwise wouldn't have. And one thing I wanted to know, I I only ever remember seeing like marathons on TV and shit, like the Boston
Hmm.
Marathon. Who the hell wants to run amongst all the buildings? What you did, that's a lot more entertaining to me. I could
Oh,
get
dude,
behind running a marathon out on something like that.
yes. We were talking about that too because there's people that will
But
run
I had no
tracks and they'll
clue that this
run.
was around, you know?
No, nobody does. Unless you start getting into running, you don't know anything about any of it. I mean,
It's
who the
just,
hell thinks that they're going to run 50? Dude, there's people that run 100, 200 miles
oh,
nonstop.
I know. I
Just
know.
run.
As we've mentioned, it's crazy how big the world is.
Well, and what your body's truly capable of if you're willing
That
to
too.
push yourself and actually find out.
That
Because
too.
not many people are actually willing to put themselves through some discomfort. And that's all this is. Like, I know I'm going to hate myself. At the end of the day, I know I am going to hate every second of how I feel, but I'm going to love every damn second of that too. And it's just the pain that I put myself through, but I know what I'm capable of. And I know that I will find out things about myself that no most people aren't even willing to put themselves through an experience that would allow them to feel that, you know?
Yeah,
So that's cool. That's a big thing for me. Something to keep you going, something to keep you motivated, and not many people do this. So fuck it, I'll do it.
for sure. Not many people do this at all. Like I said, I didn't even know about this crap. Not until the last year or so.
I'm the only person in our family that I ever heard of doing anything with running or marathons was our uncle Jim.
A
Because he,
few
if I
years
remember, he
back,
was a runner.
Jill ran a marathon. I think she just did a 5K after she lost a bunch of weight. I think Kelly did it
Okay.
with her and like Taylor or somebody else. A couple other people ran
What?
them together. Wendy and Kelly or like that ran one together. Something like that.
Well, and I ran a 5K with Eric, our little
I was gonna
brother.
say, yeah,
Maybe, I mean, shit, that was right after I got out of the Marine Corps. So 10 years ago now,
yeah,
11 years ago, maybe. So it's been a while. But that was, dude, that was up, that was the farthest I had ran up until this year. Like in the Marine Corps, I ran 3 miles. That was all we had to run. And unless it was a training exercise, I didn't run any farther than that. So I ran 3 miles for the Marine Corps. I ran 3.3 with Eric. So up until this year, 3.3 miles is the farthest I had ever ran and the farthest I ever planned on ever running.
Right.
So it's crazy. Like it's nothing I ever thought I'd want to do or would enjoy doing, and now I don't hate it. But it's different when you're running just for yourself as opposed to running to make a time, because there's stress involved, and I'm just trying to make sure I can do it. I just got to get through. It doesn't matter if I
I
make it
have noticed that too. Like when I just run in the morning, I'm just running. I'm just running to run for. I'm running for 10 minutes. I don't care how far I make it. I'm just running, and that
Mhm.
kind of does, like you said, it just changes. Yeah, it changes your whole mindset, which
You
makes it
don't feel pressured. You don't feel stressed about it, and it makes it suck a little bit less, you know?
kind of, yeah. It's easier to enjoy it when it's not being forced on you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just like
In a
most
way,
things.
right? What do you think? Should we wrap her up there?
Yeah, I say we wrap it up. I think we had a good conversation and I learned a lot of shit, so
Good.
I think somebody else will too, and we'll put all this information to the test and I'll
Continue to keep everybody updated. We are new to this YouTube live thing, so for people checking us out over here, we will be doing this now on YouTube every Monday moving forward. We were on Facebook, but that's been causing too many issues, so we're moving over to YouTube, and this is where we will be staying for the foreseeable future. So continue to check us out on Mondays right here. We will vary our topics from week to week. This isn't going to be just always nutrition. We cover mindset, health, all of it. Um, Joe, before we do go, I want a quick touch on the things we talked about, just so you have your tasks for the next time we chat. Uh,
mhm.
Check your hydration status. You're going to weigh yourself for a couple mornings. We're going to
Yep.
find your sweat rate once you start doing a couple more workouts, and then work on changing your diet a little bit, getting a little bit higher
Mhm.
carb. And during your longer endurance workouts, you're going to ingest more carbs and sodium. So those were the notes I had for you.
I like it. I have a lot of notes and a lot of things to look into, so I appreciate the hell out of it, Ryan.
Absolutely. If you're watching us, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of our updates. We appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you next week.
See you later.